My dad was greedy, but this time felt odd. Lily had been excited for her 10th birthday for ages. She'd made a list of hopes, things like a bicycle, drawing tools, and maybe a fresh dollhouse. Sophie and I planned a big celebration, inviting relatives and dear pals. The streamers were hung, the cake was set, and Lily glowed with joy. My folks showed up late, as usual. My dad strutted in with his typical swagger, my mom trailing behind. He carried no shiny gift bag or neatly tied package, just a worn, scratched-up stick in his grip. Lily gawked at it, puzzled. "What's that?" My dad thrust it toward her. "Your birthday treat," he said with a smirk. The room froze for a quick second. A few guests let out shaky laughs. My sister Clara and her partner swapped sly looks. My mom gave a soft, tense chuckle. Lily hesitated, then took it, holding it like it might snap at her. I didn't get it. My dad clapped his hands. "Fancy gift are only for other grandkids," he boomed, then laughed, a loud, hearty roar, like he cracked the best jest ever. Clara snickered. Her husband grinned. Even some of our simpler guests offered shy giggles, not catching the truth. Lily's face crumpled. She turned to me and Sophie, her voice tiny. "Why does Grandpa say that?" Sophie pulled her near, stroking her back. I saw her teeth grit, like she was swallowing anger. I wasn't swallowing mine. I faced my dad, voice low. "What's wrong with you?" He shrugged, carefree as ever. "You don't earn my kindness, James. You know that. Why waste cash on your girl?" The laughter died fast. People shifted, uneasy, realizing this wasn't funny. Rage burned in me. Years of his small tricks, favoritism, and endless control crashed down right then. But instead of exploding, I switched gears. I grinned. Then I stood, across the room, and did something that wiped the smug off my dad's face for once that night. I picked up a knife. The room held its breath for a beat. Not in a scary way. I wasn't about to go wild, but in a way that hinted something big was coming. I turned to the cake Lily had been thrilled about and sliced 2 perfect pieces. One for her, one for Sophie. Then I faced my dad. "You're not welcome here anymore," I said. Quiet hit. Not the awkward kind, not the fidgety kind, but a heavy, haunting stillness that sank into the walls, telling everyone something had shifted for good. For half an hour, no one spoke. Not my dad, not my mom, not my sister. Not a single visitor. And then, just when he thought he'd won, I decided to end it for real. His face twisted with spite. "You're a fool, James," he snarled. "A silly little prank." I replied, my tone icy. He let out a sharp, bitter chuckle and shook his head. "Fine, but don't come begging when you see you can't erase me from your world." I swung the door open for him, silent. My mom stepped out first. He trailed her, but just before passing the threshold, he spun around one last time to glare at Clara. "Are you joining us?" Clara faltered. She glanced at me, then at my wife, then at Lily, who still clutched that absurd twig, unsure what to do with it. Then she sighed and rose. "Yeah, I'm coming." Of course she was. She grabbed her husband's elbow, and they followed my parents out. The door clicked shut behind them. For a few moments, no one budged. The guests stood frozen, waiting for some hint of what to do next. But there was nothing to say, nothing to do. Lily broke. She burst into sobs and buried her face in Sophie's lap. Sophie knelt, murmuring gently and rubbing her back. I crouched beside them, resting a hand on Lily's shoulder. "Sweetie," I said softly, "it's okay?" She cried harder. "Why does Grandpa dislike me?" Sophie shut her eyes and took a slow breath. I balled my fists and kept my voice steady. "He doesn't dislike you. He doesn't know how to be kind." She sniffled. "But he's good to Clara's kids." I swallowed hard, throat tight. "I know, sweetie, and it's not right. But hear me. We love you more than anything. You don't need him to be joyful." She wiped her nose on her sleeve. "But my party's spoiled." That stung most because she was spot on. The room felt thick with gloom. No one laughed. No one cheered. Guests fidgeted, some muttering quick goodbyes to slip away. The so-called perfect birthday had crumbled into a mess. Sophie and I tried to lift the mood, but the damage was set. The candles had dripped low. The gifts fell hollow. Lily forced a smile, pretending all was well, but it wasn't. And that's when I decided this wasn't finished. I wouldn't let my dad strut off thinking he'd triumphed. He thought he could shame my daughter and escape unscathed. No way. I'd make him sorry. Did he want to play nasty tricks? Fine. I'd play too, but smarter. Payback was coming, and he wouldn't spot it until it hit. My dad always craved power. He built his life on it, steering my mom, my sister, and above all, trying to rule me. But no matter how hard he pushed, he could never grab hold of my company. I started with nothing. Long nights, endless effort, clawing past every stumble. When it finally soared, my dad had the nerve to claim he'd helped. He never pitched in a penny, never gave advice, never lifted a hand. Yet, once it thrived, he acted like a partner. He bragged everyone about me as if I answered to him, calling it our venture, though he'd done zip. And the worst? I let it slide for years, hoping if I let him feel big, he'd value me someday. Big mistake. After Lily's birthday, I stopped stalling. Next morning, I rang my lawyer. Cut him out for good, I said. My lawyer paused. You sure? Your dad's not listed anywhere official, but he's acting like he's nothing. Make it final. And with that, I slammed the door on him forever. He didn't catch on at first. Too busy sulking, maybe waiting for me to crawl back with sorry. But when his regular calls to my office got no reply, when his name vanished from everything he claimed a part in, he sensed trouble. Then the storm hit. He stormed into my office uninvited, shoving past my assistant like he owned it. James, he bellowed. What's going on? I leaned back in my chair, calm as ever. I don't know what you mean. His face flushed red. I called the bank today. They won't tell me anything. I reached out to your board. Suddenly I'm barred from meetings. What game are you playing? I shrugged. You said I didn't deserve your respect. So why should you touch my business? His jaw tightened. I built it with you. I laughed. No, I built it. You just like pretending you did. You ungrateful little, watch it. I warned. You're in my space, and I owe you nothing. For once, my dad looked lost. I saw it flicker in his eyes. He'd spent years acting like a ruler, chest puffed, boasting about his company, his sway. Now it was gone. He had zilch. And the kicker? He'd brought it on himself. He stepped closer, trying to claw back control. Think you can just ditch me? I already have. His breathing grew ragged. He stared like he wanted to hit me, yell anything, but he had nothing. No edge, no strength. I could almost see his pride crack. You'll regret this, he finally spat, voice shaking with fury. You need me. I smiled. No, Dad, I never did. Then I buzzed security. They didn't even need to grab him. The second I tapped the button, two tall, sturdy guys stepped in. My dad glanced at them and saw how small he looked. An old man throwing a fit where he held no sway. Are you serious? He hissed. I tilted my head. Think you can barge in and bark orders? This isn't your place. It's not your company. You got no power here, never did. He scoffed and shook his head, but I saw his hands clench. He was falling apart. You think you're invincible, he muttered, more to himself than me. But, son, I'm still your father. You can't wipe me out just because you're upset. I grinned. I already have, and trust me, Dad, it feels amazing. The guard moved closer, and for a second, I thought he'd resist. His hands tightened. His chest puffed out like he might swing. But then something surprising happened. The office door swung open again, and my mom stepped in. She wasn't supposed to be there. I hadn't spoken to her since the party, and I sure hadn't asked her come. Yet there she was, framed in the doorway, gazing between me and my dad with a look I couldn't figure out. Henry, she whispered softly to my dad. Come with me. His eyes flicked to hers. His fury melted into confusion. What are you doing here? She inhaled and glanced at me. James, can we speak alone? I hesitated, then nodded at the guards. Clear the room. They left and shut the door. Now it was just us three. Mom, whatever you're about to say, I started, but she lifted her hand. I know you're upset, she said. And I don't fault you. What your dad did was wrong. I should have stopped him ages ago. My dad's head whipped toward her. Margaret, what in the world? She ignored him. But you need to hear me out. I folded my arms. Go on. She paused, then said something I didn't see coming. I want out. I blinked. Out of what? She swallowed hard. Him, the life I've been trapped in for years. My dad's face drained of color. What are you saying? She turned to him, and for first time ever, I saw pity in her eyes. Henry, I've spent my whole life staying quiet, watching you favor some, watching you belittle James because you can't handle that he's outdone you. His mouth dropped, but no sound came out. She faced me again. I should have walked away long ago, but I was scared of losing my home, my safety, starting fresh. She took a deep breath. But I'm not scared anymore. I stared, trying to process. Are you leaving him? I asked slowly. She nodded. If you'll help me. My dad slammed his fist on the desk. Have you lost it? She flinched but stood firm. No. Henry, I think I'm finally clear-headed. He spun toward me, his face twisted with anger. This is your doing, he growled. You're turning her against me. I leaned back in my chair, arms crossed. No, Dad, you managed it all on your own. For the first time, my dad looked utterly helpless, and it was beautiful. He was trembling. His face, once red with rage, had faded to a sickly white. He glanced between my mom and me, like he couldn't grasp what was happening. Are you for real? He muttered quietly. My mom nodded, hands steady at her sides. Yes, Henry, I am. His breathing hitched. You're making a huge mistake. You think he'll look after you? You think James will rescue you? He let out a bitter chuckle. Wake up, Margaret. Leave me and you've got nothing. I tilted my head. You sure about that? He sneered. What's that supposed to mean? I leaned forward, tapping my fingers on the desk. You never handled the money, Dad. You didn't care to. Mom did. You just gave orders and assumed you ran everything. His eyes darted to her. Margaret. She looked at me, then back at him. Then she dropped the bombshell. I've already talked to the lawyers. Everything's in my name. Half the house, half the savings. And after all I put up with, I'm going for more. My dad's mouth opened, but nothing came out. I smiled. Oh, and since you loved pretending my company was yours, I had my legal team poke around. He stiffened. Turns out you took loans in your name, thinking I'd bail them out with business cash. His breath caught. What happens if they're not paid? I went on. The bank doesn't chase me. They chase you. He stared, realizing how far he'd fallen. You're bluffing, he mumbled. I leaned back, arms crossed. Test it and see. He turned to my mom. Margaret, you can't do this to me. She met his gaze, and for the first time, I saw no fear in her eyes. Oh, I can, no doubt. Just so we're clear, you did this to yourself, Henry. He stumbled back, gripping the desk like he'd collapsed without it. You ungrateful. I cut him off. No, Dad, that's you. You had a family, and instead of cherishing us, you played favorites. You had a son who built something great, and instead of being proud, you tried to steal the credit. You had a wife who stuck by you for decades, and instead of valuing her, you acted like she was nothing. I shook my head. You've lost it all, Dad, and you've only got yourself to blame. The room went quiet. For once, my dad had no comeback, no jabs, no tricks, no way to twist things his way. He'd truly lost. My phone pinged, breaking the silence. I glanced at the screen. A text from Sophie. Lily's doing better. We got her ice cream. She's smiling again. I exhaled, tension draining away. That's all that mattered. Lily was happy, safe. My dad's venom hadn't touched me. I looked back at him. You should leave. He stared, his eyes holding something I couldn't name. Maybe regret, scorn, or the dawning truth he'd run out of people to boss around. He turned and walked out. My mom lingered a moment, looking at me with warmth. Thank you, she said softly. For what? For showing me I still have a say. Then she left too. My dad was gone from my life. I won't pretend it didn't feel good. It did. It felt just. I didn't chase revenge for its own sake. I did it to shield my daughter, to make sure she never felt less, never spent another birthday feeling unwanted. And as I left my office to head home to my family, I knew one thing for sure. My dad would never hurt us again.